Good Monday, no, Tuesday, Tuesday morning, everybody. It is the last day of January. Chris Allen here on the Sam channel, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter, sponsored by Ace Hardware Marketplace. Just a quick update on me. Still have the COVID. Obviously, it is thank goodness, it's a milder version. Hopefully it stays that way. I'm on the medication that the doctor gave me and all of this. I think we caught it early enough, and he feels like it too, that maybe this won't be so bad, but I'm still quarantined. I'm still quarantined here at my home, and I'm pretty much in my room all day. Since Sheila's already had it, I don't want to impact her. And of course, my mother-in-law lives with us, and I really don't want to impact her, mainly because I'd never hear the end of it. But mother-in-law joke. Okay. So anyway, so I wanted to hit you early as I could this morning because of the winter weather going on here. The current time as I record this is 4:48 a.m. Central Time. Now, we've had several reports of some icing issues back to the west of us. But I just went outside. I was going to get in the truck and do a video, but I don't think it's necessary because mainly what we have here in the Bowling Green, Warren County area is rain mixed with sleet. Okay. So when you look at the radar, it looks like it goes from snow to freezing rain to sleet, and it keeps changing colors. To me, that's an indication, plus the temperatures, that maybe this won't be that bad here in southern Kentucky. This round, there's going to be another round that's going to come in tonight and do the same thing. But this round here is not bad until you go, say, Hopkinsville West or Madisonville West, or even up toward E-Town and Louisville. It's kind of in an arc where some of the worst of the weather has been, but we'll do the radar inspection here, and I'll stop the motion so you can see currently what's going on here in the Bowling Green area. And I'll turn on even the what's called MPing. These are real ground truth reports of what is out there. So this one happened, well, almost 4:30. Mixed rain and ice pellets. And when I went outside, that's what it was. I mean, on the cars are wet, the roads are wet, passable, and there's little ice pellets out there. Okay. Here's one over, looks like maybe near Fountain Run. 4:30, they reported just rain. Here's another one up in Campbellsville, freezing rain. Okay, that was about almost 4:30. I don't see any other reports this morning back to the west, but I've been monitoring the weather service offices in Nashville, Louisville, and Paducah. And it's once you get pretty much west of Hopkinsville, that is where we're seeing some issues back. Well, I didn't want to do that. Let me erase that. Still getting used to this new thing here, the drawing tool. So once you get kind of past Hopkinsville up toward Beaver Dam and then on up to, Louisville, Hodgenville, E-Town, all of this back here is slippery. That's where the ice has had time to accumulate. That's where we've had more freezing rain than anything else. That's where the trouble spots are. We have been really just warm enough here in southern Kentucky to keep most everything in the southern tier of counties and even down toward the Nashville area pretty much rain with some sleet mixed in. And so sometimes, when you look at this radar and you see all the pretty colors, well, what's happening? There's an algorithm, a mathematical equation in the radar that's trying to figure out what kind of precipitation it is, and it's always very tricky when you get these kind of winter weather events. Like, it's trying to figure out, is it snow, is it rain, is it freezing rain, is it sleet? And it's not going to completely accurately determine just exactly what's happening. So you just have to take this not necessarily at face value, but you have to factor that in when you're looking at a radar. So my advice, until we get some more reports coming in this morning, is just take it cautiously. Like I said yesterday, most likely bridges and overpasses are going to be the first to freeze up. If anything, I would say right now in the Bowling Green, Southern Kentucky area down to Middle Tennessee, you're good to go. Just wet roadways with some ice on your car, just little pellets. The coating of ice, the more glaze of ice, is going to be west and north of us. Okay. So just use that kind of as a guide this morning for those of you that have to go to work, or, I know there's a lot of school systems in anticipation of all this that have decided they're going to close or run late or whatever. And that's a precautionary measure. That's up to them what they do. But maybe it's not going to turn out so bad for us. But one critical thing, there's a caveat. There's always like a caveat. There's one little thing in the back of my mind that's starting to work toward the front of my mind with this COVID fog. I hate that because it doesn't make me think clearly, but I'm thinking, if we have any little drop in temperature, that's going to be key, because it could, even during the day, as we're not going to get all that much we're not going to get any sunshine, I don't think. Cloud cover, the cold air that's on top of us with that warm layer of moisture underneath. If we have any kind of drop in temperature by a degree or two, that can make all the difference in the world as to what we end up with. So that's my concern, okay? That could shift. If we shift a little bit colder, then everything starts to glaze over, even today, because we're not going to make it much above freezing. And that's the problem. And therefore, the winter weather advisory, now I'm going in a little different order here because we're more nowcasting than forecasting, since this event is underway and we're under the winter weather advisory. Now, this one is in effect until noon Central Time today, takes in pretty much all of the counties you see anywhere around Bowling Green, Southern Kentucky, Central Kentucky, Southern Indiana, Middle Tennessee. This is for the negative impacts on travel, possible where you get that glaze of ice. And at times we could see not just freezing rain and freezing drizzle, even when some of this precipitation stops. This morning, it's not really going to be over, because we're going to continue to see some drizzle, and some of that could freeze on contact. Call it freezing drizzle instead of freezing rain. There's still opportunity for a little bit of snow to mix in, or a little bit of sleet. It all depends on the temperature from top to bottom. Slick spots, and you see the confidence there, medium to high, as we go throughout the day. Now, there is a new winter weather advisory that is for tonight, that starts at 5 Central and goes until 6 a.m. tomorrow, just for Southern Kentucky. And you see it right there. And it's because we're going to have another surge of moisture coming in overnight tonight, and it's going to set us up once again, just like we're set up this morning. Tomorrow morning, same thing, different day, as another piece of energy moves in, and with that will come some more moisture, and here we go again. tomorrow morning. So just know that, keep that in mind, because it does look like it's coming back. Now, this says, and I want you to understand what the Weather Service is trying to caution you with here. It's more preparedness than anything else. When they use the word expected ice accumulation, it's not a guarantee. Okay. So when we look at this, we need to know that we're going to possibly see anywhere from a tenth of an inch to a quarter inch of ice down here. This is taking in consideration this morning and a little bit that's coming in tomorrow morning. And therefore, the impact is light to moderate. Okay. So if we get a tenth of an inch of ice, there's going to be slick roads, bridges, overpasses for sure. Now, if we start to edge closer to a quarter inch of ice, then we've got some bigger problems. And it's not going to be ice storm, but there could be some sporadic power outages. There could be every road covered in a glaze. That's going to be a problem if we get the temperatures going down anymore. Not that much, but just down a little bit more, plus that additional moisture that's going to move in here tonight and tomorrow morning. That's going to be the problem. And so I want to caution you that we have this to head our direction. And not only are we going to deal with it this morning and with the freezing drizzle or even some sleet or snow showers mixed in today, it's not going to accumulate that much. But with any additional precipitation and any slight change in temperature, a couple of degrees colder, then we've got problems. We've got big problems, but still not ice storm issues. Okay. So I want to calm your fears about that, but it's still going to be hazardous travel. Okay. Now let's take a look. Like I said, I'm shaking this up. The order this morning, I'll get to the model blender and all that in just a minute, but I want to show you just exactly what's coming and what's happening right now. So here is our precipitation type. And again, we're looking at most of what we're seeing here in the purple is either freezing rain, freezing drizzle, sleet mixed in. The blue is snow. Here's like 5 a.m., which it is now, exactly 5 a.m. Temperature at 30 for Bowling Green, 28 for Russellville. But look at Hopkinsville, 23. See, that's key. It's cold enough now to where a lot of this back to the west and north of us, Litchfield at 26, E-Town at 28, that's below freezing. So now we've got some problems. We're going to see problems with, icing a little bit more. But I'll put this into motion. We'll watch and see what happens. I think a lot of this first round, this first wave is going to settle out this morning. Here we go, 9 a.m., 10 a.m. And a lot of this just goes to just drizzle or nothing. And we get up to 30 here in Bowling Green by noontime, maybe the low 30s, but not that much above freezing. Here we go, 5 o'clock, 6, 7. Oh, here it comes. This is the next wave as we go 6, 7, 8 o'clock this evening. And now the temperature profiles will change just enough so that we see snow mixing with freezing rain and sleet and freezing drizzle. And you can see that here. So some of you may end up actually getting snowflakes and not just freezing rain, which would be better. But still, look at the temperature now. I know it's hard to see because this is something that I'm talking to the folks that provide this information. I'm talking to them about making, the names of the cities and the temperatures bigger where you can read them a little bit better because I know it's hard for you to read. But you see Bowling Green at 9 o'clock this evening at 28, Glasgow at 30, Edmonton at 30, Scottsville at 30, Russellville at 25. Predicted temperatures, but obviously it's going to be colder tonight than it is this morning. And I think any little moisture that comes in, at least that's going to make some of it in the form of snow. But I also believe that it's going to make it um, a little trickier maybe tomorrow morning than this morning. We could actually have travel issue tomorrow morning than we do right now. All right, let's keep the motion going. Here's midnight tonight. Most of this moves out. Here's early Wednesday morning. You could see a coating of snow or dust east of us on Wednesday morning. And then here we go into 6 a.m., 7 a.m. Wind still coming in from the north as you see the little wind particles coming in. Here's noontime on Wednesday. I mean, it's by tomorrow morning, all of this is out of here. And then we kind of take a break from the moisture. Uh, Thursday, we could see this happen again. Yeah, I'm not kidding. Thursday could be another one of those times that we'll deal with just like we're dealing with this morning. And it's just the kind of pattern that is setting up for us. Okay, let's take a look at current temperatures now. I know I normally do this at the beginning, but this helps tell the story in order of how this is going to progress. Kentucky mesonet temperatures right now, as you can see, are mostly in the 30s here in southern Kentucky. All right. So um, here is a colder shot of air. Now, the thing is, some of this will start to just ease over to the east as we go into the day. We're probably about as warm as we're going to get today, right now, low 30s, maybe mid 30s for some of you east of us. But look at these 20s here in western Kentucky, and that's where the worst of the icing is going on this morning. So the concern is the further west you go, even as you head outside of, say, Russellville, Hopkinsville, Elkton, into western Kentucky, that's where we're seeing the bigger issues this morning. And then that area is going to work eastward because we're going to get our turn with the colder temperatures, as I showed you for tonight and tomorrow morning. I think we could even see more hazardous driving conditions, more of an impact tomorrow morning than we're going to see this morning here in Bowling Green in southern Kentucky. Okay, now the model blender. Usually I get this off to you early, but I wanted to show you what's to come so you don't, worry about, well, how bad is this going to get? Um, so you see a steady climb here, except for this little divot on Friday. But then we really start to warm up as we get into the weekend, the beginning of next week, getting close to 60 degrees, and then just kind of leveling off in the low to mid 50s during that time. Now, the average high, I'm so glad I got this telestrator now because it helps me a lot. The average high is 47. So I'll draw a line right in there. That's where we should be on average for this time of the year. We'll be right on it Saturday. And then above average temperatures, as you see, um, for the end of the weekend and into next week. So once we get through these next few days of being a little bit below average in temperature, then we'll be out of the woods as far as wintry weather is concerned, and then we can be done with all this. All right, let me turn that off. Okay, I like being able to telestrate now. That helps me. It's almost like a football game. Well, you see the running back went on. Okay, you know how it works. You can tell I watch a lot of football, especially now with Super Bowl coming up. It's going to be a good one. Okay, here's a look at the maps. I don't want to keep you too long this morning, but here we go. So we've got the overrunning moisture coming up out of the Gulf of Mexico and the Baja of California, the Pacific, Mexico, the Southwest, all of that feeding right into southern Kentucky. Therefore, the mix precipitation that we're seeing this morning, we get a little break as we go through the day today, but then here comes the next surge coming in tonight, as mentioned, and with the cold high pressure to the north, colder air, colder, denser air undercutting the warm air, the moist air, and therefore you get the perfect setup for frozen mixed precipitation. But then it's out of here by tomorrow midday afternoon, and then everything heads south. Now, here's Thursday's setup. More of a rain event for us, although temperatures, they will be warmer, but not warm enough to keep us completely out of that possibility of some mixed precipitation. But then another cold front comes through and we're done with it by Friday. And then into Saturday, high pressure dominating. Sunday, nothing to see here. Everything is pretty tame. And then we begin our warm up as we head into next week. But so the bottom line this morning, stay careful, okay? There could be frozen bridges and overpasses with a glaze of ice that you don't see, even though mostly in the Bowling Green area as of 5 a.m. on this Tuesday morning is sleet with rain, mostly wet roadways, mostly wet. But there could be some icy spots, and there are some reports of glaze on the highways. Anywhere you go, say, let's draw a line, like I did before on the maps. I'd say anything west of Russellville, Elkton, Hopkinsville, up toward Central City, and then on up toward E-Town and Louisville. Anything west of that, closer to the Ohio or Mississippi rivers, is going to be a glaze of ice. If you stay here in Bowling Green or go south to Nashville or go east, just wet. But tomorrow morning could be worse than this morning. And I'll be here. If I can stay healthy and stay well and be able to talk, I'll be here. I'm not on the radio. I'm going to quarantine probably all this week. I don't want to give my coworkers any of this. So it's going around. So I'll be here. Right here is where I'm going to live for the next few days. God bless you. Thank you for watching. As always, stay safe, be careful. God bless you, and I'll see you back here tomorrow.